The strange thing about becoming a millionaire in 2026 isn't that people are building the next billion-dollar AI company. It's that someone, somewhere, is making a fortune cleaning grease traps, or managing dumpsters, or owning a boring warehouse filled with industrial shelves that almost nobody ever sees. While millions of people spend their evenings chasing the next crypto token, AI startup, or viral side hustle, another group quietly buys businesses so ordinary they barely make headlines. No interviews, no magazine covers, no inspirational documentaries, just predictable cash. And over time, that predictable cash compounds into extraordinary wealth. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most millionaires are not created by exciting businesses. They're created by businesses that solve expensive problems over and over again. Today, we're looking at 15 local businesses quietly making millionaires in 2026, not because they're glamorous, but because they understand something about money that most people never do. And later, I'll show you the one characteristic almost every business on this list shares. Once you see it, you'll never look at local businesses the same way again. Let's start with something almost nobody notices: self-storage. Imagine owning hundreds of tiny garages. People rent them. They rarely visit. Many stay for years. The average customer doesn't wake up thinking about moving their old furniture just to save $50. Convenience beats logic. That's recurring revenue. It's the difference between selling one bottle of water every day and owning the pipes supplying the neighborhood. Every month, payments arrive whether you're actively working or not. That's the first pattern. Now think about laundromats. Not the flashy ones with neon lights, just clean, reliable machines in neighborhoods where people need them. A washing machine is expensive. Maintenance is annoying. For many renters, paying a few dollars per load makes more sense. Water flows in, dirty clothes go out, cash flows back. It's a business built on routine. Routine is one of the most valuable assets in the economy because habits are harder to disrupt than trends. Next comes commercial cleaning. Office buildings, medical clinics, warehouses, schools. Most people don't notice the cleaners until they stop showing up. Businesses don't buy cleaning because it's exciting. They buy it because they can't operate without it. When contracts renew every year, revenue becomes predictable. Predictable revenue increases business value, and that's where ownership starts becoming leverage. Then there's pest control. Nobody wants to think about termites or rodents, but they definitely pay to avoid them. The interesting part isn't one visit, it's the maintenance plans. One technician can service dozens of recurring customers every week. Instead of constantly hunting new clients, the business grows by stacking subscriptions, like adding bricks to a wall, one at a time. Pressure washing is another surprise. Driveways, shopping centers, apartment complexes, restaurants. Cleaning isn't just cosmetic. A cleaner property attracts customers and protects expensive surfaces. A small truck, specialized equipment, reliable scheduling, that's often enough to build a business producing hundreds of thousands in annual revenue. Not because pressure washing is magical, because neglected property creates recurring demand. Now let's talk about dumpsters. Not garbage, the containers themselves. Construction companies constantly need waste removed. Roof replacements, home renovations, commercial demolitions. Every project generates debris. Someone has to haul it away. The business owner isn't selling dumpsters. They're selling convenience and time. Almost nobody talks about this part. People happily pay premiums to remove problems immediately. Consumer psychology matters more than technology. Next comes HVAC maintenance. Heating, cooling, ventilation. People ignore these systems until they stop working, usually on the hottest or coolest day of the year. Emergency calls generate revenue. Annual maintenance plans create recurring revenue. Equipment replacement creates high-ticket sales. One customer relationship can generate income for decades. That's compounding in business form. Landscaping follows a similar pattern. Grass keeps growing, trees need trimming. Commercial properties cannot simply skip maintenance because appearance affects customers and tenants. Weekly service, monthly contracts, seasonal upgrades. The owner isn't selling grass cutting, they're selling consistency. Here's another overlooked business: mobile car detailing. Cars have become more expensive. People keep them longer. That changes behavior. Protecting a $60,000 vehicle suddenly feels reasonable, especially when the service comes to your driveway. Convenience is becoming one of the strongest competitive advantages in modern business. People increasingly buy time, not products. Pool maintenance works the same way. Owning a pool sounds luxurious. Cleaning one every week isn't. Chemical balancing, equipment inspections, repairs, recurring visits. The customer enjoys the asset. Someone else manages the responsibility. Ironically, the less glamorous the work, the less competition often exists. Medical transportation is another quiet winner. An aging population means millions of people require rides to appointments. Insurance programs often reimburse these trips. Hospitals need reliable providers. Patients need consistency. This isn't driven by trends, it's driven by demographics, and demographics move much slower than headlines. Here's where things become even more interesting. Portable restroom rentals. Not exactly dinner conversation, but festivals need them, construction sites require them, sporting events depend on them. Once purchased, the equipment generates revenue repeatedly. One asset, many customers. That's leverage. The asset keeps working even while you sleep. Now think about commercial parking lots. Not owning luxury apartments, owning asphalt. Businesses, airports, hospitals, downtown districts all need parking. People pay for access. Technology now automates payments and monitoring. The owner collects revenue while software handles much of the operation. Systems replace labor. That's another pattern hiding in plain sight. Let's add vending machine routes. Not a single vending machine, hundreds, placed strategically inside factories, offices, gyms, and schools. Each location becomes a tiny retail store operating around the clock. The owner manages inventory. The machines handle selling. Scale comes from systems, not working longer hours. Finally, warehouse space. E-commerce continues expanding. Small businesses need storage, contractors need equipment space, local distributors need inventory rooms. Warehouses rarely appear in lifestyle magazines, but they quietly produce rental income month after month, and that's often where wealth is built. Now step back. 15 completely different businesses: cleaning, storage, transportation, maintenance, waste, parking, warehousing. At first glance, they seem unrelated, but they're connected by one powerful principle. They're solving recurring problems. That's the pattern I promised earlier. People don't repeatedly buy luxury watches. They repeatedly need clean buildings, working air conditioners, waste removal, transportation, safe storage. Businesses serving recurring needs enjoy recurring revenue. Recurring revenue creates stable cash flow. Stable cash flow increases business value. Higher business value creates wealth. Notice what isn't on this list. Businesses depending entirely on trends. Businesses needing constant viral marketing. Businesses chasing the newest technology every 6 months. Technology changes. Human needs move much more slowly. This doesn't mean AI doesn't matter. In fact, AI is making many of these businesses even more profitable. Scheduling is automated, customer service uses AI assistants, marketing campaigns become cheaper, operations become more efficient. But here's where most people get this completely wrong. AI isn't replacing every boring business. It's making many boring businesses better. The company cleaning office buildings can now automate quoting. The landscaping company can optimize routes. The pest control business can predict customer renewals. Technology becomes leverage, not the business itself. That's a huge difference. Now let's look at the uncomfortable math. Imagine business A goes viral. Revenue jumps, then collapses. Business B quietly signs another 50 monthly maintenance contracts. Nobody notices. 5 years later, business B is generating dependable cash every single month. Banks prefer lending to it. Investors pay more for it. Buyers compete to acquire it. Not because it's exciting, because predictable income is valuable. Think of wealth like planting fruit trees. Speculation is hoping someone pays more for your seed tomorrow. Cash flow businesses are trees producing fruit every season. One depends on finding another buyer. The other depends on serving another customer. That distinction changes everything. Of course, none of these businesses are risk-free. Labor costs rise, competition appears, economic slowdowns reduce spending, equipment breaks, customers leave. The goal isn't eliminating risk, it's choosing understandable risk.
That's what successful business owners do differently. They don't ask what's exciting. They ask what problem will still exist 10 years from now. That's a much better question, because wealth rarely comes from predicting the future perfectly. It usually comes from owning systems that continue producing value, regardless of which trend dominates social media next month. The biggest lesson was never about finding the perfect business. It was about recognizing the pattern behind businesses that quietly create wealth. Reliable demand, recurring revenue, strong cash flow, scalable systems, ownership. Those principles repeat themselves across industries, whether you're talking about storage units, HVAC companies, or commercial cleaning. 5 years from now, two people could look back at this exact moment. One spent those years chasing whatever opportunity looked the most exciting online.
The other spent that same time building or buying a business that solved a real problem every single week. Their businesses might not look impressive on Instagram, but their bank accounts may tell a very different story. So here's a practical challenge. Look around your own city. Pay attention to the businesses everyone ignores. Ask yourself one question. Which of them solves a recurring problem that customers will still pay for 5 or 10 years from now? You might be surprised by what you find. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like, subscribe for more deep dives into how wealth is really built, and let me know in the comments, which of these boring businesses do you think has the biggest future in 2026, and which one did we miss? Because sometimes the most profitable opportunity is the one everyone else is too busy overlooking.